Arsenal 5, Leeds 0. And I have to say, I was very jealous of what Arsenal fans got to witness today, particularly in that second half. Dowman, Wanyeri, Lewis Skelly, all on the pitch at the same time, all hail end graduates. And that is exactly what football's about. Victor Gyökeres getting very important goals. As a striker, your job is to score goals. Even if your touch is off, even if your all-round game can be bad, and I don't think his all-round game was at his best today, but if you score goals, then everybody's going to stop talking about you and stop talking negative about you. And that's what Gyökeres did today. He scored his goals, he shut people up, and the goal he scored, the first goal he scored, was a phenomenal goal. That is prime Gyökeres. That is what Gyökeres did at Sporting. Get him in the channels. If you play to his strengths, he will succeed. And I said this after the Manchester United game. I am someone that obviously is jealous that Gyökeres went to Arsenal because I wanted him at Manchester United, and he was poor versus Manchester United. But I said after the Manchester United game, I said in my video the other day on Arsenal just need to play to Gyökeres' strengths. If they pass fast balls to him down the channel where he can run onto it, he will be lethal. He's not someone with his back to goal play, holding up the ball, doing this and that. He's someone that runs the channels. I don't think he's fully fit. I don't think he's fully sharp. But the one time you give him a good ball in that left channel, he scores a phenomenal goal. And if Arsenal can play quicker and adapt to that, he's going to succeed at Arsenal and score a lot of goals. So in today's video, we're going to break down Arsenal's 5-0 win over Leeds. So I've got a few notes on the match and certain players: Gyökeres, Madueke, Timber, Calafiore. I want to talk about Dowman. I want to talk because he's just not normal for 15 years of age. As Gary Neville said, he's a Wayne Rooney-esque talent there. We're going to talk about all of those players, but let's start by my general thoughts on the game and overview. So I thought Arsenal, the first 25-30 minutes were poor. I was watching it and you went 1-0 up for a set piece. I thought, jammy Arsenal, because you weren't great versus Manchester United. You got a set piece, Bain did rubbish, and you won the game, and then you were defensively secure in the second half. You didn't start that well versus Leeds. You know, it was very, very same old, like slow in possession. Like Odegaard, I thought, was actually one of the better players versus Manchester United. And I know it's just come off injured for Wanyeri, but I thought Odegaard was taking a few too many touches. I thought Arsenal was slow, predictable. I was just thinking in my head that Arsenal are one of the most boring big teams to watch. And you get that set piece going, I think classic Arsenal. And then you get that second goal, brilliant goal through Saka before half time. And, you know, hopefully he's not injured because he's obviously just had a hamstring injury. And I felt that in the second half, you came out and you were so much faster and you were so good. The football you were playing in the second half was fantastic. I do think the first half started slow. But I always felt like with Arsenal, if you go 1-0 down to them, you're just not going to beat them. Like, if once Arsenal go 1-0 up, it feels like the game is now in Arsenal's strength, so they can defend. It's going to open up. They're good when games are more open. Boom. If Arsenal go 1-0 down and they have to break down a low block, it can be more difficult for Arsenal. But you can see with Gyökeres' goal, he made a ball into a goal. Like, it wasn't even a chance that he got, and he turned it into a goal. I mean, no matter Madueke was direct, it can bring chaos. And I felt like with Arsenal, they ended up then just controlling everything. After the goal went in, they just controlled everything. The game opened up. The second goal was crucial. And I just knew in the second half, Arsenal were going to win 5-0. I thought the first 30 minutes wasn't great, but I just knew Arsenal were going to win this like 4-5-0. The game really opened up. And you can see with the XG, the field tilt, how dominant Arsenal were. I mean, Arsenal overperformed their XG. They got 5 goals from 2.42 XG, and Arsenal were complaining about underperforming XG. But that's what you get with Gyökeres. You know, you get players that can overperform their XG. Eze can overperform his XG. So yeah, Dowman comes on, wins a penalty in his debut, direct, demanding the ball, making things happen. To have Wanyeri and Dowman as these talents and players like Saka, then you can choose between Gyökeres and Havertz when they're fit, and Eze coming in. Like, I am pretty jealous of what Arsenal have got right now. So let's talk about Jurrien Timber. He has to be man of the match. Now, I was actually praising Jurrien Timber in my Man United match reaction because I said when Jurrien Timber came on, Arsenal was so defensively secure, and he was really annoying me in the Man United game because I was so frustrated that we couldn't break you down. And with Jurrien Timber, you know you get defensive security. He's better defensively than Ben White. What you get with Ben White is Ben White's probably more dangerous on the overlaps. He's a bit quicker, can make those more overlapping runs, put in those crosses more than Timber. But with Timber, you've got a more technical player. If you know, in terms of defensive security, in terms of duel winning, you know, he's harder to beat 1v1. I'd probably say 1v1 in terms of trying to beat him in duels, probably the best defensive fullback in the league. He's very good at that. Obviously, he showed last season what he can do, but he's also someone that can play centre-back, can play DM, can cut inside, can invert inside, can go outside. Physically good, technically good, can play fantastic passes. His touch, his technique, everything is so good. You know there's an unbelievable player in Jurrien Timber, but it's not just his IQ, his physicality, his duel winning. but he's very secure. He's very secure. He's a player that when he's got the ball, I feel like every Arsenal fan is secure when he plays. If he's playing, they can believe he's going to deal with his man, he's going to deal with his winger, he's secure. And he's someone that can play anywhere for Arsenal. And today, he does something different. He gets goals, he gets assists, 2 goals and assists, contributes to that Arsenal side, has scored a header versus Manchester United, has got that in his game. And he's a bit of a threat because now at corners, it's not just about marking Saliba and Gabriel, but okay, now you've got to look at Timber, and now you've got to look at Calafiori, and Arsenal are a pain at corners, aren't they? Continuing on, Max Dowman, he is not normal. 15, won a penalty on his debut, won a free kick as well. Do you know what stands out about Max Dowman is every time he got the ball, he was ready to dribble at people and take people on. And consistently, he was succeeding in those dribbles. Consistently, the big word consistently, which is just different for 15, creating separation, manipulating the defender, getting past his man, winning fouls. He had a shot, he won the penalty, he made a few tackles, he won a few duels. I think physically, it's harder when you're 15 because you're not fully developed yet. But, technically unbelievable player. And he has the ball and he's manipulating defenders into fouling him. He won a penalty in the preseason game. He won a penalty today. But to be that good at 15 is not normal. As they said on comms, this is a Ryan Giggs, Wayne Rooney level talent. Look, anything can happen in football. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you have the wrong attitude, he might not reach his ceiling. Max Dowman could probably be, in the next 10 years, a top 5 player in world football. He could be. I'm not saying that he will be. Injuries, minutes, career path, attitude, it's all a massive thing. Anything can happen. You can't predict a footballer's future. But if you're looking at technique, dribbling, driving forward, creating separation, this is an elite level player. Like, we were talking last season about how Arsenal have arguably 80 to 100 million pound talents already in Nwaneri and Lewis Skelly. But Max Dowman is someone with an even higher ceiling than those players. And I think Nwaneri and Lewis Skelly are phenomenal players. And I was jealous watching it because Arsenal were getting to see Lewis Skelly, Nwaneri, Max Dowman all on the pitch together. And they were all doing well when they were all part of this 5-0 win. Obviously, Nwaneri came on earlier for Odegaard. And while I think it's negative in the sense of Saka came off injured, Odegaard came off injured, Ben White is injured, Kai Havertz is injured, the injuries are stacking up for Arsenal. But they went and signed Eze, Gyökeres, Madueke. Saka's injured. Madueke showed glimpses of, but if Saka misses a couple of weeks, I think Madueke can do a job just fine. Whereas last year, that would have been a bigger issue. Kai Havertz, if he was injured, Gyökeres can come in and we can see what Gyökeres can do. I think it'd be good for Arsenal to have both Madueke and Saka and Gyökeres and Havertz so they can rotate and choose the right player for the right game state and have more options off the bench. But with Eze coming in, Gyökeres coming in, and Madueke coming in, all of a sudden these little injuries, Eze can come in for Odegaard, Gyökeres can come in for Havertz, and Madueke coming for Saka. Arsenal finally got the depth that City have had in the past when City won those leagues. But they've even got youngsters like Nwaneri and Dowman that could even challenge the likes of these players in Odegaard and Saka, which is crazy. So yeah, we'll talk about Gyökeres. He's got the goal. The hate watch was failed. And do you know what I like about Gyökeres? Is the way he was flicking his hair after he scored the penalty. Well, first of all, phenomenal penalty taker. Second of all, really good when he can run the channels. But it was the way that he's listening to all the hate online. He was just flicking his hair. I feel like he's got the mentality and the personality to deal with it. I think sometimes a player, when they sign for Arsenal and they get all the hate and they lack confidence, they can lose it. But he doesn't. He seems he's got the mentality to play for a big club, which is a key thing in a striker, because striker is probably the position where confidence is the most important thing. And look, the penalty was fantastic. Scored a good solo goal, beat his defender, clinical finish. But that's what Gyökeres does. I've done so many videos on this channel. If you watch my channel, how sometimes Arsenal can play well, but they'll draw the game 1-1 because they just can't get that goal and they can't turn all that possession into that goal. Gyökeres is one of those guys who will make a lot of channel runs. And if Arsenal could just be quicker with the ball and play to his strengths and find him, he can turn one of those runs into a goal. Gyökeres is one of those people where Arsenal might just be playing backways, sideways passes, can't break down a team, but he can just make that run and make a goal happen. And you can turn those sort of draws into wins. That's what, Liverpool didn't play well in a lot of games they won last season. They played well in 90% of their games, but there was a few games Liverpool won last season where they didn't play well, but Salah could just do something. And Arsenal need more of those players that can just do something, because other than Saka, I don't think Arsenal have a player on the pitch that can just do something. But Eze can just do something. Gyökeres can just do something. And while Madueke isn't as clinical as an Eze or a Gyökeres, Madueke is someone that is incredibly direct, likes to take people on and likes to make things happen, which can also add something to Arsenal. So I actually want to talk about Madueke because I thought he was impressive. I thought he was combining with Calafiore really well. As I said, Arsenal's biggest issue is breaking down low blocks. The best way to break down low blocks is chaos. What does Madueke bring? He brings chaos. He delivered the chaos. When he got the ball, he was very dynamic. He was very direct. He was taking people on. He got the ball and he was trying to get forward. He didn't get the ball, pass it backwards, sideways, blah. He got the ball. He was trying to take advantage of the space. He was trying to be direct, take people on, get the ball, drive. I thought he did well with Calafiore on the left-hand side. I thought when Saka came off, he looked around on the right-hand side. Madueke, for me, I didn't think he was worth spending 52 million on. But I did a video on it. I get why Arsenal signed him. He's a good option to have. It now means if Saka is out for a few weeks, it's a good option to have there. You know, he's someone that wants to take risks, that wants to be direct, that is going to improve the floor of Arsenal's squad, but also is young, can improve, is a good player. Like, people acted like Madueke is a bad player. No, I don't think he's a 50 million plus player. I think if you'd have got him for 35 million, I think it would have been a really good deal. But I get why Arsenal signed him, and I thought he was good today. I also thought Calafiore was good today. You know how Jurrien Timber had a lot of injury issues in his first season? The second season was phenomenal. I think this could be the same for Calafiore. Obviously, he didn't have the big injury like Timber had. He obviously played a lot more than Timber last season. But I thought it was very good versus Manchester United. I thought he was very good today. You look at his technical quality, the driving runs, how he can create overloads, how he can break lines. You know, I thought the fullbacks were immense today for Arsenal. I think they got 3 goals and 2 assists between them. But he adds a creative spark. He's someone that's useful in build-up. He's someone that's good in duels. He's someone that can drive with the ball, someone that can pass the ball, someone that's hard to defend against. He's got a lot of good traits. Calafiore, I'm so certain he will succeed at Arsenal if he can stay fit because he's got the technical and he's got the physical traits to succeed. But yeah, let's go into my takeaways from this game. So Arsenal were ruthless. 5 goals from 2.42 XG. That's what Arsenal fans want from Arsenal. They won badly. They won while playing bad against Man United. Arsenal fans complained they weren't winning when they played bad. They did that versus Man United. Today, they overperformed their XG. 2 things Arsenal struggled to do last year. Timber was fantastic. Gyökeres shows what he can do. Madueke brought chaos. And Dowman with a phenomenal debut. I thought one year he brought something different than Odegaard. Is a bit faster on the ball. And I think that helped in this game to open up space and drive through Leeds. I felt Arsenal were a little bit better with that. Subermende, I think, is adapting. I think he's still learning the league, and that could take a bit of time. I think it was a bit slow. The tempo was a bit wrong to begin with. Saka and Odegaard's injuries are concerns, but with Eze, Madueke, Gyökeres, the hairline kids, Arsenal have got a lot of attacking options and becoming a lot less predictable. Arsenal fans, let me know your thoughts down below on this game. Thank you for watching. Bye.